Hey, Service Nation, so good to see you today. We're going to talk about one of my favorite things, which is the fear, the belief, the craziness thinking that you can't afford good employees for your service business. Um, so many owners of service companies I talk about have this crazy belief that they've got to do everything themselves, they feel like they're forever stuck in this. I can't hire more employees without getting more work, but I can't get more work without employees. So they kind of are stuck forever. Hey, Jason Ford, one of my buddies in the house. Good to see you, man. Wait, hold on. I'm going to click wave and see if that works. I think I just waved at the real Jason Ford. I don't know. I tried. Anyway, we're going to talk today about about how to make sure that you can hire even if you don't have the right jobs, or just get out of that trap of I can't hire employees so I get jobs, or how do I get jobs without employees. We're going to talk about all that today. So if you guys, gals, dig the show, subscribe, rate, review, tell your friends, direct message me on Instagram. Like for all of you guys live, shoot me a direct message, and I'm happy to. Oh, look at that! We got Dylan and Daisy on here. We got everybody. Look at that. Shoot me a direct message, and I'll get you a copy of my book. Just let me know that you subscribed, rated, and reviewed, and we'll hook you up on Instagram. All right. So the reality is, if we can't hire employees, you are stuck in a truck for the rest of your life. And your income is capped, right? We can only make so much money as a service provider, right? If we're in the truck, in the field, doing the work, we can only make so much. So I've seen, it's heartbreaking to see people that have been doing this for 20, 25, 30 years, and they just never knew. And then once we help them get the systems and processes they need to hire, it's great. We're like, oh my gosh, I wish I'd have known this stuff decades ago. So I want to make sure that is not you, and that you get everything that you need to get out of the truck and be able to afford good employees for your service business. So let's jump in. First and foremost, as always, we got to start with you and changing your beliefs, ideas, all that sort of good stuff, because that is typically the stuff that will kill you, is having the wrong belief. So the first belief that will kill you absolutely is this thing, I can't afford to hire, right? A lot of people are like, well, if I do all the work right now, I can make money. But hey, Cecilia, good to see you, sister. But if I hire, I won't make any enough money. The reality is either your business is set up profitably or it's not. So many people don't know how to charge properly for a real business. So keep in mind, if you are cleaning pools, cleaning houses, killing pests, whatever the service business you're in, if you're providing the service, you can only make the money a service tech would make. So you're capped. And oftentimes you're not charging enough. So a lot of people are like, oh, I do it myself and I'm doing the huge air quotes, I make a bunch of money. But the reality is they're still capped, and a bunch of money is obviously really relative. They might be making a bunch of money for a service tech, but they're almost always making virtually no money for a business owner. So if your business is set up properly and you're charging your customers properly, there should be enough money for cost of goods sold, right? That's paying the employees to do the work for you. Overhead, fun stuff like uniforms and insurance and offices and trucks and all that good stuff. And then profit, right? And the profit percentage is going to be smaller if you're doing the work, not doing the work yourself, you're hiring people, but you're not capped, right? Depending on what kind of service business you're in, you might be able to, maybe you can make 100,000, maybe 150,000, but you're never going to be $1 million a year business unless your service business is like brain surgery or something really rare. Maybe you could be $1 million provider and do it yourself. But for most of us, 99.99% of us, if you are providing the service yourself, you're going to cap yourself at $50,000 to $150,000 a year, depending on the type of service business that you're doing. But you'll never have a business, even if you're like, I could live on 150 grand a year. Fine, but you still have a job, not a business, because the problem is if you take a vacation or you get sick or you stop working or you get old, right? I'm getting old, like some of the service businesses I know you guys do. I would drop dead if I try to make my body do that. The reality is you have a job, not a business. So if you feel like you can't afford to hire people, there's one of two problems, and only one of two problems. One, you don't have your business set up right. You're not charging enough for a real business. You're only charging enough to pay your bills as a service provider. So first and foremost, I guess you really have to be clear on, do you want to be a business owner or a service provider? If you want to be a service provider, then just do what you want to do, right? It's fine. Make the money that you make doing the work that you do, and don't get too uptight about it. But if you want to have a real business that you get paid whether you work or not, you've got to have employees, right? So if you choose to be a business owner, you've got to charge business owner rates. You can't charge, wait a second, what is here? Got a chair in the way. What's this black thing in the bottom? I think there's a black thing in the bottom of my deal. I can't. Oh, that's my Instagram thing. We just started doing Instagram. That's my camera. So you can see our Instagram camera, because God forbid it lets you do both at one time. Anyway, enough technical problems watching me not know how to work the tech stuff. So typically when we want to become a service owner and we start as a service provider, our pricing isn't right. So we need to charge enough that there's enough margin to pay employees to do the work, plus the cost of goods sold, plus some profit. The second piece is there's not enough accounts, right? So you might, if you're like, well, I've got 10 accounts, and if I do all the work myself, I can make $72,000 a year and that pays my bills. That might work if you have a job, but if you want to have a business that works with or without you and other people do, you might need more accounts. So typically, if you feel that you can't afford to hire, it's not that you can't afford to hire, it's that your business model is broken. Either you're not charging enough or you don't have enough accounts. If you don't have enough accounts, it's because you don't have the right client attraction systems in place. So that's the first thing we need to get over. It's not that you can't afford to hire, it's that the business model that you've chosen to adopt is broken. You need to fix your business model. So hopefully you see the difference mentally with those two statements. One, I can't afford to hire. That just sounds like it's a fact that's out there in the universe that we have no bearing on, right? Which is a very disempowering belief. But if you change that and shift that to a clearer truth or reality of my business model is broken, now we put ourselves back in the driver's seat, right? We have the power to fix that. If I can't afford to hire, that kind of just makes us powerless. If you say my business model is broken, that's something we can fix. So that's the first thing we need to get off of, is change from I can't afford to hire to maybe I need to modify my business model and move from a self-employed person who does all the work to a business owner that has a real business that they can sell and that makes money whether they're working or not. All right. The second belief that will kill you is, well, you don't understand. I'm the best bug killer, snow plower, electrician, cleaner, whatever the case. You don't understand. My customers need me. No one can do it like I can do it. I'm this technical genius. Here's the problem with that. Technical geniuses just don't get paid a lot, right? That, again, depends on the business that you're in. Could be 30, 40, 50 grand a year, maybe 100 grand a year, but that's just the most you're going to be able to make thinking I'm the best. And I always use the McDonald's example of there's probably the guy somewhere, I'm guessing in Texas, that makes the best hamburger in the whole face of the earth. And he's probably broke, right? So he's great at doing the work, but he's not probably very wealthy or successful. McDonald's is the opposite. I've been to McDonald's. No offense, McDonald's, but your burgers aren't great, right? If you want it fast and calorie dense and smell good and make you feel good for 4 minutes and then not so good for the rest of the day, if you're old like me, McDonald's is a great option. If you want the best burger in the world, it's not a great option. But if Mr. McDonald, right, Ray Kroc, when he started franchising, thought like, I'm the best hamburger builder in the world. I've got to build a hamburger. It's all about me, what I can do. He would be stuck at some very small thing. So we all know that McDonald's isn't the best hamburger builder, but they are the most systematized hamburger builder, right? They know how to get employees to be able to do it. So you want to move from, if you want to be, and hey, Jessica, good to see you, sister, one of our next level members. And frankly, one of my favorite people, such a sweetie. Good to see you, sister. We need to move from this is me based to systems and processes to get a result, right? McDonald's knows they can take a stranger, and I don't know how long it takes, so I can't imagine more than an hour or two, train them to make all the food on their menu, right? So they have systems and processes as opposed to, oh, my employees won't do it right? So or as long as you have that belief that my employees won't do it right, you are stuck. And the reality is maybe they won't do it right. Maybe they're only going to be 70% as good as you or 80% as good as you, but there's no cap, right? Like I can't emphasize this enough. If you don't have employees, you have a job. The only way you can have a real business is with employees. Otherwise you have a job. And if you want a job, again, that's fine. No judgment, but just be clear on what you want. And if you want a real business, all of this belief of my employees won't do it right, I can't afford it, that's all got to get fixed, right? Because if you allow those beliefs to stick with you, you're never going to be able to hire, right? So the reality is, if you want a business, getting employees, whether you think they'll do it right or not, whether you think you can afford it, is non-negotiable. So we've got to get off of that. They won't do it right. I'm the best service tech in the world, blah, 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 blah. That's good for the ego, but not so good for the pocketbook, right? What you want to do is, I'm the best owner in the world. I create cultures and experiences for my employees and my customers and systems and processes and teams and all the stuff that we teach. That's what gets highly paid. Providing the service does not get highly paid. So we've got to get off of the they won't do it right and get into even 10 employees doing it 80% as good as I do is still 800% better than me doing it myself 100% well, right? So just if you do a little bit of math, you realize even and believe it or not, spoiler, there are guys and girls that are just as good as you, right? Of the people listening right now, many of you might think I'm the best. Well, one of you is wrong. If there's 100 of you listening and 99 of you think you're the best, well, 98 of you are wrong. There can only be one best, and your customers don't even know the difference, right? So we got to get off the they won't do it right onto the I can get systems and processes to get the result for my customers. The next one is, and this is kind of second piece of the first part of they won't do it right is my customers need me to do it. They're used to me being in their house, on their building, in their property. If I don't do it, they won't accept it. The reality is your customers couldn't care less about you. No offense. They only care about the result that you bring them, right? So, and if they do just want you to sit there and talk with them and hang out with them and spend time, that's fine. Do that on your own time as you're building a business, providing the service. Send a qualified tech out to do the work, right? And you've got to re-educate your clients that their goal is not to hang out with you, although that might be lovely. Their goal is to get the result that you bring them, right? So we do this podcast and all these broadcasts, and a lot of people call in like, oh, I want to talk to Mike. I want to talk to Mike. And we have coaches because I can't talk to everybody who wants to talk to me because we have hundreds of people a month. And the reality is we have to re-educate those guys and gals going, it's not that you want to talk to Mike, that might be fun or nice, but what you really want is to transform your service business. You want to make more money, you want to work less, you want to have systems and processes and be able to scale and build a business that you can see so clearly in your head. And once we get them to go, oh, that is what I really want, talking to me isn't as big of a deal. And again, once you're in the program, I do coach people, but we have to readjust people's expectations from I want to talk to Mike, which isn't what they really want, to I want to grow my business, right? Same with you. They might want to talk to you, but what they really want is their house clean or their electrical problem fixed or the HVAC working. So we've got to get off of it's all about me. And again, this is more for the recurring. Some of you guys like electricians, HVAC and stuff, you might not have that head trash around, oh, they want me because you don't have that relationship. But if it's like the landscapers or the cleaners or the pool guy or someone that's there all the time, sometimes we get this false belief of, my customers want me, right? The reality is they want the result, and you can always produce a better result with a team than you can with a single person. So you're not even serving your client who's like, oh, I want you. And you give them what if you get sick? What if you get hit by a bus? What if you go on vacation? What if you quit? What if whatever, right? They really want the result, and a team is always going to be better able to produce a result. Like, could you imagine walking to McDonald's and somebody's like, hey, can I help you? I'm like, whoa, where's Steve? Or where's Mr. McDonald? I need him. I can't have just some stranger making my burger because it's a real business. That's not how it works. Jessica, you're so sweet. She says you lead by example. She's such a great, gotta love Jessica. Okay. So the beliefs that we have to blow up to make this work is change from I can't afford to hire to, I have a business model that is set up for self-employed versus owning a business. You got to move from they won't do it right. The other employees, I can't hire them. No one cleans. No one does whatever service I do like me. We have to move from there to A, I should be able to hire people to do a better job than I can. B, with systems and processes, anybody can get the same result that I get. And then the third thing is we move from my customers need me to do this to my customers actually want this thing done, and they don't really care who does it, right? And a team of people that's qualified is always going to give a better result than just one person. All right, another belief that absolutely holds us up, because this is one that breaks my heart, is people like, I hired people and it didn't work. It was more trouble than it was worth. They quit, they stole something, they did whatever. So the problem is there are employee problems, right? I wish I could tell you like, oh, it's easy, everyone should just hire. That's not the case. The reality is with the right systems and processes, you can systematize your employee attraction process from the identifying of the leads to how they come into your universe to how you speak with them. And you can do it so in 2 or 3 or 4, 5 at the most hours per week, you can have all the qualified applicants and new starts that you need for your service business. And if you run your company with core values, and that's how you attract and onboard and lead, you're not going to have a lot of these crazy, like, to the best of my knowledge, I've never had an employee steal from me or steal from a customer. And it's not because I've got some sort of system or process, but I do. I have a system and process that makes sure we only onboard and take people that share my core values and are the right people, right? And the wrong people kind of wander off. So this whole I've tried it before and it didn't work, the reality, we need to change from that, because that's just a fact. Like, right, I tried it before and it didn't work. That leads us to believe crazy stuff like it'll never work. I can't do this, just crazy stuff. The reality is the system that you used before didn't work, right? It's not the service tech that you hired or lack of ability to hire service tech. It's the quality of the system or lack of, oh, holy crap. I've never had that happen before. Oh, live video pause. What happened? So apparently for all of you live with me on Instagram, if the phone rings and you're live, it pauses the Instagram, but we're back. So there you go. Feel free to email me. Hey, Mike, here's how you work doing a Facebook Live and an Instagram Live at the same time without having a phone call interrupt anything. I would love your tech help. So we got to change our mindset from I tried hiring, it didn't work, which is kind of a passive, I'm stuck, there's nothing I can do, this is just how my life is, and change to an active, the system I used to hire people before didn't work. And it wasn't the lack of cleaners and there's no one, trust me, I've heard it all. Mike, you don't understand. People, this won't work in my area, or um, people in my area don't want to work, or there's a big competitor in town that gets everybody. It's none of that. The systems and processes that you used didn't get the result that you want. The right response is not to go, well, I guess I'll just never have a business, I'll just never hire. It's to go, I'll just upgrade my systems and processes, right? And that's what we teach folks to do every day, all day. And then we kind of, I don't know if a lot of you guys and gals articulate it, but once we kind of have that, I tried hiring before and it didn't work, we'll follow up with it's too hard, right? The reality is, it's the same thing. It's a system. If you use the wrong system, not only can it be hard, it can just not work. You can do whatever you want. You're never going to get the people that you need, or never get the right people, because everyone gets frustrated with the many facets of, first we can't hire, and then we've got to get we can't hire because we don't think about the money. We talked about that. And we've got some sort of mental block that we're like, we're the only ones that can do it. Our customers will only tolerate, us. Once we get over that, then we kind of get to the last piece, which is employees are too much more work than they're worth. Right. And the reality is, and it's frustrating because it seems so simple. And then afterwards you look back, you're like, God, I made it harder than it needs to be. But the reality of the situation is, it's only as hard as the system that you use. So if the system that you use, and tell me if this sounds familiar, guys and gals, is I put an ad in, I'm going to show you how old I am. I put an ad in the paper. We know you don't put an ad in the paper, on Indeed or wherever we're going to put the ad. And I got one of two things will happen. I got 100 applications, and I got overwhelmed, or I got no applications. So, and then let's just go with I got too many applications, which is I got 100 applications, and I try to call 20, and I got overwhelmed, and everyone was all flaky, and I set up like 5 or 6 interviews, and only 2 or 3 of them showed up, and they all suck. So I quit, right? That's the system that we have. The problem is it's just a system problem. So the belief that it's too hard, or I tried it before and it didn't work, or employees are more headaches than they're worth, I can't emphasize enough. It's the lack of system, right? So when you get the right system, you'll get the right employees coming through. It won't take you dozens of other things. People do it one by one, and they just call and beg and chase and try to set up appointments, and it's awful, right? So they have an awful system that leads to an awful result, and then they tell themselves the lie from the pit of hell, which is, I can never hire, it won't work. The reality is, I've said it before, say it again, if you're going to have a business and not a job, you must hire. And if you're going to hire effectively, certainly in the service business, it's tough. There's turnover, right? You've got to have strong systems that work for you. The good news is, once you get this fixed in the service business, guys, gals, there's really only, aside from accounting, which is fairly easy, there's really only 2 main systems: client attraction systems and employee attraction systems. Once you get this employee attraction system done, you can get paid with not where I still remember the first time my first service business was the cleaning business. I still remember the first time I got paid and didn't do any cleaning. I was like, this is crazy. I can spend all my time getting clients. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to clean all day. Right. It's so true. So if you got into the business to have time and money freedom, you must have employees. The good news is, you're just one good system away. Once you've got the systems and processes to attract those employees and onboard them, you can do it, like I said, 3 to 5 hours a week, and you'll actually turn employees from this, nightmare kind of necessary evil that you feel that you have to deal with, to people that you really enjoy, right? You guys will see we've got people on our team, like just a bunch of people on our team that we really truly enjoy seeing each other and hanging out with each other. And they're not people like, oh, I've got to deal with this. And you can have that too. And that is the key for time and money freedom. So if you're digging picking up what I'm laying down, you're like, holy heck, this is what I need, and you want more of it, you can go to growmyservicecompany.com. At this point, we're just kind of putting out value and content. I think you get a free copy of my book. You can join our Facebook group. We've got a bunch of free stuff out there. I don't even think we have anything for sale right now. You can follow me on Instagram. Like I said, if you shoot me a direct message, happy to give you a copy of my book. Anyway, go to growmyservicecompany.com. Feel free to shoot us an email, reach out, let us know what you need, how we can serve you, what you want to hear about. We are here to serve you. Cleaning Nation. Talk soon.